everybody, it's Sewn and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to show you how I embellish these towels using some fabric that's sewn onto the bottom as well as embroidered applique. So let's get started. Okay, so for this project I am going to be using these waffle weave towels that I got from Amazon. There's no tag on the inside, but I will leave a link in the description if they're still available so that you can see exactly what towels they are. And then I'm going to be using some fabric that I got from Walmart. These were just some patriotic design fat quarters, and what I did was, for one towel, I have this strip of fabric that is cut at 5 inches wide, and it's 18 inches long. And that is just because that's the length of the fat quarter there. And the idea was so that there'll be enough of the border or band fabric that I'll be able to use going across the towel without it being too short inside the towel. And so what I'll do before I put it on the towel, I'm going to keep it turned outside out. That's why I pressed it. I'm going to stitch straight down, and then I'm going to turn it so that it's outside out. Did I say it wrong the first time? I can't remember, but y'all know what I mean. And so I will press it and then we'll sew it on. Now for the applique part that's going to be done at the embroidery machine, I have my other piece of the same fat quarter, and I've got 2 pieces of Heat and Bond Light that I've pressed onto the back already so that I could just cut right here. I'm going to use one piece after I peel the backing, of course. I'll use it for one applique on a towel, and then I'll use this for the other towel's applique. And oh, for the sewing machine part, I did make sure that I changed the bobbin thread so that I'm using blue bobbin thread for my sewing machine. And we are going to go over there real quick and get this straight line stitched. Okay, so we're at the sewing machine now, and this is the Brother SQ 9285, which I think on the box when I first got it, it said that it was a quilting sewing machine, but it has the bed right here that is removable, I should say. But what I'm going to do is I want to make sure that I am stitching a straight line that's going to go down the center of the needle, the center of the foot. So I am on J. That's the type of presser foot that I'm going to be using. And so I want to make sure that I'm at O2, so it's going to be O and 2, and that moved the needle over just a little bit. I don't know if you could tell or not, but I'll do it again. I'll move it back to 0, and then when I hit this button to go up, I'm going to move it to 2, and the needle moved so that it's in the center of the presser foot, and that is where it'll be stitching. And so now I'm just going to do a straight stitch down both of these so I can get those pieces out of the way. I am going to start with a back stitch, and it would be nice if I could find my pedal here so I can actually get it going. Okay, let's see here. I think you can still see that okay. And I am, like I said, I'm going to go back. And I don't really have to go back this far. I did go back. I started farther in than I needed to, but it's okay. The point is you want to do a back stitch so that it doesn't unravel. So go back and then go forward. And with this being a computerized sewing machine, it will control the speed. I am on the medium speed, so it's not stitching very fast. And I really like the machines that, you know, that you can actually press your foot all the way down on the pedal and it's not going to go any faster because it's set at the speed. I'm not sure how fast it's actually going though. So now when I get to the end, I'm going to do another back stitch. And that is it. This does not have a automatic cutter. So sometimes you gotta turn it just to make sure that it loosens up. And so it's not the straightest line, but it is a straight line going down. And I'm gonna do the same thing with this next one. Do your back stitch. And just feed this through, and it feeds through itself. There are what they call feed dogs that kind of push the fabric back for you. And it will go faster. Now I'm going to just slow it down and go back. Okay. So now I've got this straight line stitched as well. And it's not going to be perfect. Almost perfect, but it won't be completely perfect. So let's go back over to the table and we'll finish getting this together. Okay, so we are back to the table. I've got my tube turner, and it's just this little wire thing, and it's got a hook on it that has a clasp, almost like a crochet hook. Actually, it's just like a crochet hook. And I'll show you what I do with this just to get the tube turned. I'll stick it down in here and bring it to the opposite end. I do hook a little bit of the fabric into that little loop so that it's like, let's see here, it loops in like that. I don't know if you could tell. And then I could bring the little clasp part over it, and then I just pull it. Now I have seen where some people actually put it all the way through the fabric. I just hook it a little bit so that it catches and it does what I need it to do. And then I'm going to just set that one aside and do the other one. Okay. And I'm going to do the same thing and just pull it so that the tube turns to the right side. And if you don't have one of these, you can use a safety pin, hook the safety pin at one end and flip it and like feed the safety pin through until it pulls all the way, you know, to the right side. So now I'm going to get this little mini ironing board and I'm going to press these two strips. And I'm going to try to press them so that the seam where I sewed them up is actually on the back side. I'm going to try to get it in the middle so that it's not really showing. Well, so that it's not showing at all. Okay. And I'll do the same thing with the second one. Okay, so now they're both pressed pretty decent. And now what I need to do is I need to see how much I need to turn it back onto the inside so that I can attach it to the towel. I keep looking for a tag and there isn't a tag, so I guess there really isn't a top or bottom with this towel. I'm gonna move that one out the way. And what I'll do is lay it against it to see where I want it. And I think I want it to be right above this here seam. And so I'm going to try to bump that right there. Yeah, I do want it right there against that seam. And then I'm going to take the end and I'm going to start tucking just a little bit of it inside. And I could clip these straight strings. Oh my goodness, that's going to drive me crazy. Clip those strays. Okay, so let's turn it. And so it's kind of smooth inside there and it's even. And now I'm going to lay it against this towel just to make sure I didn't take too much away from the other end. So that's good. And now I'm going to do the same thing for this side. Get rid of some of those extra strings. I'm going to turn it onto its inside. And now you could pin this to the other end as soon as you folded it so that you'll have it there, because I'm going to pin it anyways, but I just didn't think about it, to be honest with y'all. But as I turn this second side, I want to try to make sure that I'm only turning enough to where it's just bumping right against the edge of the towel here, okay? Because I don't want it to be hanging too far over, but I don't want it to be hanging too far in. So I think that is it. I'm gonna get a couple of straight pins. And let's see here. Pin that there. That might be a little too far in for me. I think I need a little bit more of that to come out. Because I wanted to get it as close to the edge as possible. Let me get some smaller straight pins. And I'm going to just pin that there. Okay, and then I've got to pull some of this out up here. No, that's too much out. I mean, there are other ways this could be done. But folding it when it's just a cut in, I tend to not get it very even looking. So that's why I just figured I would just tuck them in and then stitch them down. And I do want to keep making sure that. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to pin this down. Just to make sure I'm not messing up. Okay, and that way I don't have to worry about so much moving. And I'll fold this in just a little bit at a time until I have it exactly where I need it. Okay, I'm going to turn it this way so I can see. And I still want to make sure that the tops and bottoms are even. as far as the tube itself, okay? Alrighty, I think that is good, and I'm gonna pin it down. And then what I'll do now, I'm gonna just sew basically in a box. And this is where having the matching bobbin thread to the top thread comes into play, or the bobbin thread being as close as possible to the fabric that's going to be on the back, which I have a dark blue thread. I don't even know what color this is, to be honest with you, but I don't have a thread this color, so I'm just going to go with a navy blue. And we'll see how it looks, because it'll be a navy blue thread on the top and on the bottom. So I won't drag you back to the machine for that. I'm just going to stitch going down, starting with a back stitch, of course. I'm going to go down, over, up, and then back across. Just one stitch all the way around, okay? I'll be right back. Okay, so we are back to the table, and I have the band stitched going across, and it doesn't look too bad. I did use the edge of the band as a guide so that I could try to keep the line as straight as possible. And on the back side, this is what I mean by trying to get your thread to match up. I still think it looks better than white bobbin thread, but that's that. So now the next step is we've got to embroider the applique piece to the towel. For this step, we're going to be using the Tajima Sai. I do have the Mighty Hoop. This is the 8x9 that I'm going to be using to stitch all of this out. And I don't know why I went on and hooped the cutaway, not cutaway, it's tearaway stabilizer, but I'm going to unhoop that because I really do want to hoop the towel. Let me find my lint brush, because one thing I don't want is to have a bunch of lint trapped up underneath an applique. I don't know exactly how that would pan out, but this isn't the time to be trying to find out. This lint everywhere. Let's see here. I think that is okay. So now I'm going to sit the center of the hoop here, the bottom of the hoop here, and I'm going to lay the stabilizer on top. I am going to fold my towel in half and use the center line as a reference point. And also because I'm going to be doing a second towel that I want to try to have them as close as possible as far as placement. I want to try to make sure I hoop this using landmarks that I will be able to remember with the next towel. So what I'm going to be doing is the edge here, where this band is, it's going to be bumped right against the bottom of that frame, okay? Now I do have some, this is not straight, I do have some water soluble stabilizer, but I am not going to use it for this simply because this is a applique, and at the end of the day it's going to be covered with fabric. So let me try to get this a little bit better on here. Definitely don't want it to be crooked. Move that up a little bit. Okay, that feels even. And I need to move this back up against the hoop as far as that bottom band so that I can know exactly where I want to place the next one so that the applique will be correct, right? Okay, and now I'll tell you, I haven't gotten any yet. Well, not for this hoop anyhow. Mighty Hoops Hoop Masters, they do have a bracket. They have the stabilizer holders so that you could use on these hoops. I'm going to have to probably get one for the 8x9. I have one for my sleeve hoops and for the 6x9, but I never really needed them or saw a need for it for this size hoop. But the towels just might be it. And I'm going to tell you, I have this backwards because I'm going to be using the Tajima Sai. So I want this piece to face outwards, but I want this to be feeding inwards. So sorry about that, y'all. I need to turn that around and we'll try to do this quickly. We are human. But I'm going to be doing the same thing, trying to make sure that that banner is bumped up against the edge of the hoop here. And when I say the edge, I'm bumping it up against the inner edge, not the outer edge. Okay, I think that is good. We are ready to go and get this stitched up. Okay guys, so we are over here at the machine, but let me confess something to you all. It's the next day. I've already completed the towels. The video has already been recorded, but I accidentally deleted this segment. So I'm gonna just jump in here real quickly and show you all the setup, how I retrieved the design, set up my stops, and then once we get past a certain point, we'll pick back up where we left off at for the original towels that we're doing for the video. So I hope you all don't mind this. I just did not want to recreate a whole nother video because I did mess up. I deleted a whole segment. So to pull up the design, we're going to hit this little flower here, and I'm going to pull the design off the USB port. So I'm going to select USB, and I'm going to hit this little arrow, and I know that the design I want is the very last design, okay? It's the outline of America, and let's see, let me turn that off. Does that help any? I don't know if that helps any or not, but I'm going to select yes. We're going to delete defined stitches. And so we're at the screen now where we need to designate our colors and add our stops. So let's see, that is as close as my camera will zoom. Okay, so to add our stops, we're going to go to each color that we want a stop to be added behind, okay? Because at color number 1, you can't add a stop before it because it's already stopped. So when you have your color number 1 selected and you hit that stop sign, it's gonna add a stop right after color number 1 is done stitching, okay? And then when you go to color number 2, because I do need a stop at color number 2 as well, I'm going to select color number 2 and I'm going to hit that stop sign again and add another stop. And so the way I have this set up, it's not going to push the arm out. It's not going to do that. It just stops the machine, and I can put my fabric on for the applique, and I do take the hoop off to trim the applique, but I'll show you what I do in just a second, okay? Okay guys, so remember, this is just me showing you how to do the applique process with the Tajima Sai. I am going to use this white washcloth in place of our towel because I don't know whether or not I want to stitch another towel or not, the blue towel anyhow. And so I'm going to put that on the frame, on the machine, so it's there. And then when it comes to the next steps, you know, when you want to advance, you have to hit set and check to make sure you have the right hoop selected. Because I'm using the Mighty hoops, which you don't program into this machine, I have this set for tubular 1, which is the biggest hoop that the Tajima Sai has. Then I'm going to hit set again, and so I do want to turn this around because on the towels, remember, on the towel, it's actually, the band is going to be loaded forward and this is going to be facing this way, okay? I hope that makes sense. But I want to rotate it by hitting that little upside down flower once, and it flips your design upside down, okay? And so I'm going to hit set. I do want it to be traced based off of the middle of the design, and so I'm going to leave it where it is, and I'm going to hit set again and trace. I hope I said that right. It just kind of threw me off that I actually deleted part of my video, but this will pass. And so it's traced the area to show you exactly where you need fabric to go, or where your stitches are going to go. And that will also ensure, or help you to ensure, that you have enough stitch filled within the hoop so that you're not bumping the hoop, okay? I always trace on the side when I'm using mighty hoops, okay? And so now I'm going to hit start, and it's going to give us our placement line. And I have the placement line stitching in a color that I can actually see, because after this is all stitched, the placement line and the tack down line is not going to be seen. It's going to be covered up by the satin stitch, okay? And I am going to just use a piece of red fabric that I have some heat and bond light on the back of it. I'm going to put the fabric with the heat and bond light part downwards to cover all the stitches for that placement stitch. And you can take it off of the hoop if you want, off of the machine if you want to. I'm just going to kind of look to make sure everything is covered up. All of the stitches are covered. And now I'm going to hit reset, letting the machine know that, hey, I've done what I need to do, and I'm ready to hit start again. The next step will be the tack down stitch. Is it tack down? Yes, tack down stitch. Oh my goodness. And then I'll take it off and do a trim. Okay, so I did the stop so that you could take it off of the machine, and you see it has the outline there, and your design will be trimmed all the way around that. And then once it's all trimmed, you'll do the satin stitch, okay? So because the trimming I do actually have from the original video, I'm gonna go back to the original video from this point where I'm trimming the applique, and we'll finish this project up. Goodness. Okay guys, I almost robbed you all of a whole applique trimming experience, because all of these little grooves in here are quite aggravating already. And it's that Great Lake area there that I don't like. But I figure someone may want to know how, you know, you're going to trim it. And so the whole point for me in having a thread that's as contrasting as possible for the tack down is so that when you get to this step, you can actually see what to and what not to trim. Now, I'm not going to say I have never cut through stitches with an applique. Of course I have. I've cut through the towels and the fabrics of the things that the applique is going on, but you just have to be careful and work on it. Oh, that's a whole lot of fabric there. And this definitely would be easier if it weren't hooped, but gotta leave it hooped. Okay guys, so my memory card had ran out, so I had to go through and delete some footage off of it. So I am finished trimming the applique. We are going to take this to the machine and finish that final satin stitch. Okay guys, so we are back to the machine. I am going to hit start, and it's going to finish that satin stitch all the way around the edge with red. So I'm going to go ahead and just let it stitch because I'm not sure how much memory I have left on this memory card. And I'll check back in with you. She is almost done. Alrighty, so this is the finished result. We're going to clean it up at the table and we'll show you how it looks at the end. Okay, so I went on and finished the second towel as well, so I am done with these. I do have a little bit more of the same material left, so I may do a couple of more towels like this. I don't know, but tell me what you think. I already know some of my friends are gonna say, "Oh, Sean, those colors are too muted against each other. They're not gonna like it. They like different colors against solid backgrounds, not similar colors." But you know, everybody has different tastes. I do have some different patterns that I'm going to do some different towels with, and we'll see how, you know, some different colors look. But this is all I have for today. Tell me what you think. Leave it in the comments. If you have any questions, leave them down there. Please like, share, subscribe, and until next time, you all keep taking care of yourselves.